What's up, guys? Welcome to the show today. Super excited to come back at you on Monday, and welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to be going over some moves to make in Dynasty, some sells, some buys, some draft pick talk. If you haven't been here before, I'm Sam. Welcome to the channel. Please hit subscribe. Anything really helps, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like the video as well. But let's get it kicked off today for some moves to make in Dynasty pre-NFL draft. We are almost there. The wait is almost over. So to get it kicked off today, the first move I want to make is I'm going to be trying to acquire Rashee Rice by selling Hollywood Brown and kind of using the news of him signing with the Chiefs to pivot to who I feel is the better buy in that Chiefs wide receiver core, which is Rashee Rice. Now, Rice is valued more than Brown, which is totally fair. Rice is younger, had a better season. So I'm going to use Hollywood Brown and Jerry Jeudy, another guy who just changed teams and signed a very big contract, to see if I can go get Rashee Rice on my team. I do like Hollywood Brown. I think he's going to serve a good role for Kansas City. But Brown, throughout his entire career, has really never even done what Rice was able to do for a stretch last year and be that consistent. So I think Rice is the talent I would prefer on my team. I've noticed that since Brown has come to Kansas City, Rice has dropped about 4 or 5 slots. Over on KTC, he was wide receiver 19. Now he's down to wide receiver 24. So maybe we can slightly buy the dip with Hollywood and pivot to a different Kansas City wide receiver that I think is younger and going to be more consistent and just going to be on the team long term. Hollywood signed a 1-year deal, so I just don't really think he stays in Kansas City long term, or even if he does, I think he is the 2 to Rashee Rice being the 1 there. Second, we're going to go get Michael Mayer, and I'm going to sell Zamir White, a running back who is starting to gain some value just due to basically no one else being there in Las Vegas. I think Zamir is a good player. I think he's probably going to get the ball a decent amount if the backfield stays the same there in Las Vegas, but I just don't see him as a long-term asset. Spoke last week. I think Madison might cut into his workload a little bit more than people are assuming. And I think Michael Mayer is someone who has a chance to really not explode, but just continue to gain value in Dynasty. They have Adams there. They have Mayers, Jacoby Myers, but Mayer looked pretty good last year in small stretches. He has the draft capital and the tight end room. No one to be afraid of now after moving on. I mean, they signed Harrison Bryant over from the Browns, a fine tight end 2 or something. But I think Michael Mayer, he's going to go into that role that we were expecting him to go into last year. And sometimes tight ends can take a while. So I think this is a good way to kind of transition some of the hype that Zamir is getting into a more long-term asset for your Dynasty team. Third one here, a lot of people are talking about trading up to 1-7, 1-8. How about we go get 1-9? We're going to trade 1-12 and 3-5 to do it. Now, my logic here for going to get 1-9 is I feel pretty good about a top 8 rookies in a Superflex draft. But, I've been in enough rookie drafts to kind of know that things don't always go as chalk as you would expect them to go. People do not always have the same rankings that you do or consensus has. It doesn't really matter. So I think 1-9 might be that thing where all it takes is one person taking something that you didn't expect to happen, and all of a sudden you're sitting there looking at one of your top 8 prospects. Maybe it's one of the QBs falls to 1-9. Maybe Odunze falls to 1-9 or Brock Bowers, or we don't really know. I kind of feel good about 8 prospects at the moment, but I think 1-9 might be in a good spot to attack one of those top 8 guys falling, or someone who's just going to probably rise up through the NFL draft. Maybe Brian Thomas gets a good landing spot. Maybe Xavier Worthy gets a good landing spot. A running back goes to the Cowboys, and we fall in love with the potential. So I think 1-9 is a good spot to kind of be in the middle, where if you're only having to trade that 3-5 to move up from 1-12, you may have to pay a little more. I'd probably be comfortable paying an early third as well, 3-1. 2-12 is kind of the line where I would maybe want to see who's on the clock to make that move. But in general, I think there's some value to be had here by moving up from 1-9. Last trade I'm going to talk about today, spoke about Jarrett Stidham the other week, and I think Jacoby Brissett is in a similar position where let's go get him by trading Hendon Hooker, someone who I don't really have a bunch of feelings about. Honestly, I just think Jared Goff is the long-term guy for the Lions there, and Hooker is just a backup, and I don't really see him as an NFL player much. And Jacoby Brissett, if the draft plays out where maybe the Patriots take a wide receiver or they trade down, maybe Brissett starts for a year and this turns into be a killer trade and you're getting a quarterback for an entire year starting, or you can dish him to someone else, or you have an extra guy floating around on your team in a super flex league. These kind of moves do matter. Value could grow on guys like this. And this is just such a cheap price that maybe someone's looking at this, be like, of course I'd rather have Hendon Hooker, the younger asset, than Jacoby Brissett, when in actuality, Jacoby Brissett probably has a better chance to play this year than Hendon Hooker does. So thank you guys for tuning in for this Moves to Make episode. If you've been to the channel before, I like to be fast. I like to give you guys the information so we can go do something and make moves with these ideas. Thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I will catch you later this week, Wednesdays, Fridays. Keep coming back. We are inching closer to the NFL draft, and I'm just as excited as you guys are. So peace and have a good rest of the week, guys.